one station. Boston's home for classic soul and R&B. 1090 AM. WILD. Boston. Keep it real.
Let's go to Siddiqui. I promise go to Siddiqui, Angela, then I'll go to Torcumo in Chicago. Siddiqui in Boston, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir, Reverend Sharpton. Happy holidays.
Same to you, sir.
Yes, sir. I was hoping I'd get a piece of George Curry because I heard his comment about Kwanzaa being a made-up holiday, and I said, well, Rev's going to be a referee and ring that bell of yours for round one because we're going to go at it.
All right, well, he's gone, but go ahead. You can address the issue.
Yeah, well, let me just say, just when he talks about a made-up holiday.
And by the way, Kwanzaa starts the 26th.
Absolutely.
Which is Sunday, and I'm going to deal with it Monday, but go ahead, Siddiqui.
Yes, sir. Well, when you talk about made-up holidays, what is more made up than Christmas? Let me just say this, that as someone who's not a religious scholar, and not only religious, but respect folks who are Christians, that the bottom line is that when you talk about the 25th, as you mentioned before, Rev, that this is, according to history, is not actually the date of a quote-unquote birth of Christ. And that when you talk about the Christmas tree, part of a pagan holiday, that it was either Alexander the Great or some pope centuries ago, due to the solstice and what have you, declared the 25th as Christmas. And so then you have a circumstance where we're telling our children that a little white man in a red suit's going to come into the ghetto and come down the chimney and leave gifts and so on and continue to promote that lie when we know. I tell you what, Rev, if someone comes down after midnight at my house and that little white man, he's going to be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And so what I'm basically saying here is that you contrast that. Now you've got. I heard this talk about $1 trillion. A
little black man come down my house, he gonna be. Anybody come to my house, gonna be in trouble. Go ahead.
I hear you, but the bottom line is, I hear this talk about $1 trillion, which is correct. We're like 15 to 20 million of the population of this country. There's no reason why we're the condition we have. We should have our own businesses, our own schools, let them on the money, but we're so wasteful. We waste more money during this time frame than any other folks. That's why they direct a lot of their attention towards us. Now let's look at Kwanzaa. I mean, the bottom line is that our ancestors were forcibly brought here as slaves. We were stripped of our culture. And so our knowledge in terms of ensuing generations was European-based. You've got Brother Karenga, who was in East Africa, observed the customs and the tradition, and brought something back here that was culturally based when we had no cultural base. And so we're talking about something that revolves around nation building, self-determination, collective work, when it comes to cooperative economics, these principles that we revolve around, that we can, in fact...
Now, there are, in fact, I'm going to give you an assignment, Siddiqui. I want you to give us a whole Kwanzaa breakdown on Monday, which is the second day of Kwanzaa, the Nguzo Saba, what is the 7 principles, what they mean, and the impact. So I'm going to have you on as a guest, not a caller, on Monday. In fact, hold on so they can book that now.
Okay.
Because I think people should know whether they agree with it or not, celebrate it or not. I think people ought to understand what Kwanzaa really means, what is it meant, because I think it is the first cultural holiday Africans in America did that even now everybody around the world, even the postage stamps, recognizes. So we ought to at least know what it is. Now, I personally grew up celebrating Kwanzaa, and I know a lot of people that grew up in my generation that did. This next generation, I don't know what they celebrating, but I think we all need to talk about it. So hold on, I'm going to have Siddiqui on as a guest on Monday. Please get all the information and work that time out. Let's go to Angela in Philadelphia. Angela?
Ubiquitously at large, Angela Del Philly here. I want to say Merry Christ is here. Happy Boxing Day on December 26th. That's an important date, too. Also, happy Kwanzaa. And have an excellently happy, healthy, hopeful, no fear, prosperous new year. And I'm saying no fear because this is what's been running things. These Caucasians have always had fear because they think you're going to wake up and realize they're the Neanderthal man, as well as the fact that they're doing abominable things to keep our people and children in prison. Mr. Wesley Snipes is in prison for, they're saying, tax evasion, yet as the other lady was mentioning, the undocumented people have never paid taxes. and they have these companies and businesses that are paying them under the table, so to speak, and they're not being penalized. All of our banks have been taken over by other countries. Did you know, Reverend Al Sharpton, that the 7-Elevens are owned by Japan? Are you aware of that?
Well, there are many companies, and thank you for your call, Angela. I'm going to try to get to Tokuma. There are many companies and much interest, and the United States government is in debt to China. So the overall overseas takeover is real. I also think that we can't just call one race or one thing and then deal with it when people castigate us. The fact of the matter is that what Wesley Snipes is going through is wrong, because of due process didn't work. I had his lawyer on, I have him on again, to talk about how a white member of the jury stood up for Wesley Snipes and said no, some of them had already decided before they went in, and in fact that meant that he did not have a fair trial. So your point is well taken in terms of when you compare what they're letting some do and what they did to Wesley Snipes. Let's go to Toikumo. I hope I'm saying it correctly, in Chicago. Hello?
Thank you for taking my call. Yes, you said it correctly. Toikumo.
All right, Toikumo.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The point I'm trying to make is simple. Black people, we are our own worst enemies. Not only in the United States, also in Africa, because I'm from Africa.
What part?
Nigeria.
All right.
I've been here in the United States over 20 years. I've been listening to you from day one. Okay? Well, the point I'm trying to make is that black people were our own worst enemy. When the government of the United States set up programs that is geared towards helping black people because of the years and years of injustice, programs that are supposed to correct the wrongs of the past, here you have some black people parading around the country trying to discredit the program. People like Ward Connolly and the last guy who called before me, his name is Hammond. They are talking out of sheer ignorance. Affirmative action is not to give you a better hand over some other race. It's to open the door so that you can go out there and prove yourself.
Open a door that was closed.
Right.
You wouldn't need affirmative action if there hadn't been discrimination.
Right. So I don't understand these black folks who are ignorant and try to discredit affirmative action.
Let me say this, and I'm going to let you finish talking about affirmative action is not for us. It's for them.
Correct.
To make them behave, those that have been in charge, in a non-discriminatory way. It's not to teach us conduct. It's to teach them conduct.
Correct.
That they cannot discriminate.
Correct. So I don't understand. Black people, we don't support each other. We're quick to jump into conclusion based on what the media says about one of us. We don't even get the facts straight. We're running around this Christmas time spending money that some of us don't even have. Okay? But yet we don't support each other's business. That is our problem. We are our own worst enemy. And that's what I have to say. Well,
I hope somebody heard you, because I used to spend Christmas in Chicago, and if it's Fifth Avenue in New York or State Street in Chicago or Wilshire Boulevard in L.A., I don't understand how we go down and charge up our future.
Thank you,
on
Reverend.
Some foolishness. Well, every time I get discouraged or depressed, I do believe a child was born. I don't believe it was December 25th, but I believe that child was born. And God didn't choose to send that child to the best hospital with the best doctors, didn't even send it to the family with the best pedigree. Send it there in the barn, because there was no room in the inn, with an humble mother who had no notoriety. When I think about what that child did, I know what that child can do for me and you. One born in privilege, one born with great potential in the minds of the world. But we can split the world in half like he did AD and BC. That's what Christmas means to me. There's a star in the east. I'm going to follow the star. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Don't take Christ out to Christmas, or you'll miss the Mass as you miss the Christ. Talk to you on Monday. Keep it real. Shop.
1090 WILDAF. WILD. Where information is power.